Welcome to day 3 of the Opera Euro Rapid. Day 3 we will be covering rounds 11 to 15. I'll be picking some of the best games. Now looking at this table, just to make this video even more exciting, I've got the round 14 table. Then at the end of the video I will be showing you the round 15 table. What matters is you finish in the top 8. 16 players here. At the moment in the top 8 are Carlsen, Geary, So, Aronian, MVL, Duda, Nakamura, Rajabov. In the bottom 8, Dubov, Nepomniachtchi, Shankland, Grishuk, Vidit, Nabinges, Bloombaum and Ding. I'll be covering a few of the best games of day 3. Then at the end, we'll actually see who made it. Let's begin. Daniil Dubov against Daniil. This was a very quick victory. d4, knight f6. We get the Catalan, bishop b4 check, block with the knight, and after take bishop g2. Dubov has played so many really cool Catalan games. I'm going to attach a link to this video showing his amazing game against Spanish number 2 David Anton. This video will be in the top right corner. After bishop g2, a5, a3, kicking the bishop away. Ding chooses to take, because if you move the bishop away, then white will just get his pawn back. So that's why take, and castle. Queen c2, going after the pawn, so black defends with b5. Now a4, breaking up the structure. c6 is the way to go, and h4, here we go. This tends to be the trend nowadays, whenever h4 is a suitable option. Top players tend to play it. Now h4, the idea is to maybe put a piece on g5, bishop or knight, or to keep pushing, to try and go for a kingside attack. Knight d7, h5, h6, g4, really creative from Dubov. That's why I mentioned he was my favourite player of last year. He just plays such creative openings. g4, the point is, if you take, now a takes b5 is very effective. You cannot play this because queen e4 attacking the knight and the rook all of a sudden, because that pawn has now disappeared. It's now on b5, winning a piece. That's why after a takes b5, Ding went bishop b7. Knight h2 is an absolutely brilliant move. That's why I just wanted to go through this game. When do you ever get the chance to play a move like knight h2 and it just virtually wins? The point is, if you play this, then b takes c6. Bishop, pawn now attacks bishop and knight, defended by this, and this knight, well, it's going nowhere. I mean, if you save it, then this is just even worse. Totally losing. Look at this asset on b7. Every pawn is going to drop. You've got bishop and rook also attacking this. So knight h2. What a brilliant backward move from Dubov. Take. So Ding decides to sacrifice the knight. Take. The reason he sacrifices is if you go back, then we have this again. Take on f2. Thrown a check. Thrown another check, but Dubov just blocks. Just like that, Ding had enough. By the way, at the start of the video, I mentioned Ding was at the bottom of the table. This really isn't his tournament. You could continue playing this move, so then the bishop attacks the bishop. You can't take it because the queen pins to the king, but he's just lost. For example, you can play king g2, just get out of the way. You can even play e4, because the queen defends it. And the truth is, white's just up a bishop. Knight g4 in the future as well, just get some kingside attack going. Actually, you know what? I think knight g4 is much better because the queen has to move and then you can take the bishop. So he's going to be a few pieces down. Jan Duda against Daniil Dubov, Polish number 1 against a very creative Russian player. In the previous game you saw Dubov crushed his opponent, but this time we're going to see the reverse. We have the Slav defense, e3, bishop out, take, b5, bishop out, castle a6, now e4, c5. So white gets the center, but black is the one who's going to strike, trying to break up white's center. Push, knight d5, and now knight g5. Hitting f7, also giving white the chance to bring the queen in. Knight takes c3 takes. One disadvantage from black's last move is it's solidifies the center, so if black took, you just take back. Bishop e7, knight takes e6. Amazing move by Duda. Maybe it's all preparation, but this was the piece sack he was going for. Knight takes e6, pawn takes, and queen h5 check. King f8 is possible, but in the game, g6 was played. Take, take, take. He doesn't even take the rook because he's going to get the rook soon after. So he goes for queen takes g6 check, and after king f8, bishop h6 would be mate, except for the fact that black can take. Check, king moves, check, check. So remember this pattern, you check and then you come back. Queen h6 check, king g8, and then he takes the pawn. So he's just threw in a few side checks, then he's come back for the other pawn. And look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns. Any moment now, time to get the rook in the game. There is discoordination among the black pieces. This position is much easier for white to play. So difficult to defend if you have the black pieces here. King g7, rook d1, planning a rook lift. Even f4, f5 as well, getting this rook in the game. Knight f8, check. d5, shutting out this bishop. Look at this, 5 pawns. Man, this is difficult to play. Knight h7, push. Bishop there. Push, look at this, so impressive. Queen f6, e7, bishop c6, g3, attack the bishop. Rook g8, you can't play this because queen takes queen, using the pin on the g file. Dubov goes queen h5, queen takes c3, rook d5, blocking the path. A brilliant move here, because if you play this, queen f3, and it turns out black is the one who is going to mate all of a sudden. So rook d5, another brilliant move here from Duda. Blocking the bishop, take, take. It's okay for this transition to happen because, I mean, look at these assets, 2 future queens. Rooks still for knight and bishop, and you still got your 5 pawns. Knight f6, queen takes, rook check. Really cool finish. Forcing a queen. Take. Now, if you take with a king, you just push. And there's no good way to stop a queen. Amazing. I mean, check this out. These 2 pawns were here in the center, and now they're both on the 7th rank. Amazing variation. So queen takes g8 check. Take, you get a queen. Bishop f6, the game goes on. It is not over. What a fight this is. Now we've got rook and queen versus queen, knight and bishop. Let's see what happens. Knight h6. Still, throughout this game, it really has been discoordination amongst the black pieces. Push, knight f7, check. Coming in, push, rook in, planning to maybe swing, trying to find a way in. Black has threats as well. Once you get a check in, then you can start pushing. Rook f5, king there, king up. Cool move, because it really does avoid any check. So how does black continue? Push, take, take. So this pawn is now further advanced. Queen takes pawn, b2, queen b6. Multi-purpose move, stopping the queen, and potential to queen yourself. Bishop d8 stops it, rook takes f7 check. Wow. Removing the defender and calculating this. So rook takes f7 check, take, and queen takes bishop. Check. f3. Now there are 2 queens on the board. There was one option for black, finding a way out of this game. Because after this check, if the king goes there, queen h7 check. There's no good way to escape the checks. If you come up, you can still get checked. Check. And the important thing is you can't go to that light square because you queen with check. Turns out Dubov had a miraculous way out, but he actually chose to get a queen first. Check. 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 Throwing a few important checks. When is white going to get a queen? Because if we have a look at the sequence again, it's very important. You check, check, any time now. Check any time now. But check any time now because it's important for this queen to come back to provide some sort of defense against the 2 threats. Check any time now. Check. King there. Don't want to go forward because you actually queen with check, and I think that's mate. So that's why black went back, and now you queen. The point is after check you can block with the queen. And with this block, I mean that's it. Because you're 3 pawns up and there's no good follow-up check. So that's why Black resigned here. So an amazing game, probably the most dramatic game of day 3. Here are the bottom 8, the players who did not make it. Nakamura, Shankland, Nepomniachtchi, Vidit, Dominguez, Grishuk, Bloombaum and Ding. So notice Nakamura and Daniil Dubov both have 7.5 points, but the reason Dubov qualifies is because he won more games. If we check it out, here he won 4 games, but Nakamura won 3. Notice Nakamura got 7.5, so if he drew his last game against Shankland, then he would have got 8 and would have qualified. The top 8 players who qualified are Carlsen, Giri, So, Aronian, MVL, Duda, Rajabov and Dubov. I believe the only unbeaten player is Timur Rajabov. He won 1 game and drew the other 15. Wow. If you enjoyed this video, why not give it a like and subscribe to the channel at the same time. If you press the bell, that means YouTube will let you know when I release a new video. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you later.